everyone. Ravenna from Triple Moon Goddess 88. Thanks for joining me. Download I got this morning. Well, there's a couple downloads, so I'm running a little late today, and the universe has said you're arriving just on time. You're late for a reason. So if you think you're running late in life or running late, with whatever it is, your healing, your spirituality, life in general, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Universe puts in, blockages or delays or alternate routes, routes, however you say it, for a reason.
In 500 meters at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Lonsdale Street.
Sorry, I just had the directions. So that's just confirmation that, sometimes you need to take alternate routes, and universe will guide you. Also, about a year ago, I started on my...
In 300 meters, sharp right onto the M11 ramp to Melbourne.
I started on my, what would you call it? Ancestral...
Sharp right onto the M11 ramp.
Ancestral healing, karmic healing,
In 500 meters, merge onto Mornington Peninsula Freeway M11. Continue on M11 for 15 kilometers.
Yeah, I started on my, to clear out karmic blockages, ancestral blockages, all that sort of stuff. And I was just with listening to the GPS maps thing, and it kept interrupting, and universe said that you're doing really well. Don't let other things distract you from what you're supposed to be doing. Don't let life distract you, or other people or situations. You're exactly where you're meant to be right now, and it'll take as long as it takes. So, well, within ourselves, we might be in a rush to get it started, or, we've come through the journey and now we just want a new chapter or a new book of our life to start. That the universe has its own timing, and I myself forget that quite often, and get a bit frustrated and want to try and control things, and I sometimes gently get reminded, and then other times, universe gives you that, slap upside the head, and no, you just be patient. So I'm learning a lot of patience at the moment with everything, and the universe is saying you're right where you're meant to be. You're healing well, you're moving through life well, everything's a balance. It's not just the spiritual side of things, it's the new part of yourself that is trying to, if you're shedding away old parts of yourself and old parts of, the generational stuff, that sort of the wounds that kept you, on a path that you didn't want to be on, with, whatever you need to heal. You're integrating the new with the old, and that's something that I've been doing the last several months, trying to integrate the new with the old, and releasing old mindsets and old behaviours and old ways of being that just don't align with you now. I mean, you're shedding so much. You're shedding everything internally, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, but you're also shedding on the outside as well. You know, it might be that places that you normally go to or socialize at, or workplaces, or you just don't feel like you want to be there anymore, or that you belong there, or you just don't vibrate on that level anymore. And it's not to say that it's a good or a bad thing, it's just you're just changing, you're just different. And I think that's something that we need to remember, that, you know, you're going to shed the old, you're going to shed, you know, people, places and things, things that used to bring you happiness, you know, whether it be material things or activities or habits or whatever, people, you know, you're going to shed those sorts of things that don't align anymore anyway. And it's hard. I think the biggest thing also is trying to heal those wounds that were so integrated into us from our childhoods, or even from past lives. So that's a big thing that I've been working on, is the past life karmic stuff. And that is really deep. You know, you're looking at things that have happened in this life, why you are the way you are, why certain things are the way they are, why certain people are coming and going in your life. And, you know, you can sort of date it back to, well, this is where it started. You know, that's if you're on that path. A lot of people don't, you know, believe in past life stuff, or even go down that path for their spiritual journey. But it's something that's it's very interesting, and trying to integrate those parts of myself, and learning and understanding and coming to peace with a lot of yourself within yourself. You know, doing the shadow work and going through the dark night of the soul is pretty full on. And unless you've actually, you know, done the work or are doing the work, you don't really understand it until you're right in there. So it's, you know, you've got to remember, you know, your healing takes as long as it takes, and just remembering to be gentle with yourself in the process, and not beating yourself up if it's not going as fast as you want or the way you want. You know, things that'll come up that'll be easy to work through and shed through, and then there'll be random stuff that will pop up out of nowhere that will have such big impact that you need to, you know, work through that, and it's sort of like a shock to the system, and you're like, oh, where did that come from? And sometimes you just need to remember that it's there for a reason. It's coming up for a reason. Whether you need to heal with that, whether it's unfinished business, whether it's, you know, a new cycle, that's karmic cycle that's coming through to you in this life so that you can finish it out, like whatever it is. Just remember that, you know, it is a process. And as I've said in, you know, some of my channeling before, that sometimes you might revisit it in another year or 5 or 10 years or so. You know, it's an ongoing process, but it's living life.
In 3 kilometers, take exit 19 for C784 towards.
It's living life while you're doing it as well, and not letting what you're dealing with overwhelm you in such a way that it affects your outer world to the point of almost crippling you emotionally and spiritually, just go with the flow. Go with the flow. If you're getting intuition and guidance from universe, I mean, we have free will. I've said that many, many times. The universe is guiding you for a reason. Universe wants you to do certain things in certain ways at certain times. And I found that with my own journey, when I was fighting against it, it became a lot harder, and the work became work. It wasn't going with the flow sort of momentum, and it was something that really had to be, I don't know, shoved in my face basically to work on some stuff. Stuff I didn't even want to look at, you know, the looking deep in the mirror and real honest, brutal, hard look at yourself. But once you do it, and once you get to the root of all of who you are, the wounds, the traumas, the good parts too. Like, you learn about the good parts of yourself, and you learn to not be so hard on yourself or to fear. I mean, everyone still has fear. I still have fears about things, but I'm not letting it hold me back anymore. I'm not letting it rule my path forward.
400 meters, take exit 9.
I'm not letting it control the way I live my life anymore, and I let it control my life for many, many years. Many years.
Take exit 19.
Let it rule my life for so many years. I became a hermit, literally.
Continue on C784.
I became a bit agoraphobic, and I rarely ever went out. I go out. I still am home a lot. I'm going out a little bit more these days, though. I've been single for 13 years. Celibate for 8 years, I think. Something like that. I've lost count. Because I was too scared to get into a relationship or to open myself up in a vulnerable way.
In 800 meters at the roundabout, take the second.
Because I let fear and anxiety control my life. Fear of being hurt again. And there's a lot of other stuff. There was I've had a mental health journey, and that was pretty bad, with depression and anxiety and some not so good moments in my life. Losing people out of my life who I never ever thought I would ever lose.
Exit the roundabout onto Morutic Highway.
That's people walking away from me, people passing away.
In 600 meters at the round.
Universe removing those people from my life for a reason, and I know that now. But it took a long time to work that out. It took a long time to figure myself out, and all of that prompted a real deep dive into my shadow self, and coming out on the other side of it. There's still stuff I need to heal, there's still stuff I need to work on, and we all do. But coming
Exit
out
the roundabout onto Morutic.
But as coming out on the other side of that, I'm looking forward to living life again, and just living. Not letting that. Yes, I'm scared shitless. I will not deny that, but I'll do it anyway. think that's the biggest thing that I can take away from it all is, you know, getting a sense of who I am again, opening up my gifts. My gifts were blocked on and off for years. For, you know,
In 600 meters at the roundabout.
And now that I've, you know, especially the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, they've really started opening up. But since I started on this, the last 12 months journey, they've really just exploded, and I'm loving it, you know, getting deeper and deeper into it, you know, every day. And you know, a lot of that is me starting up this channel and coming and talking to all of you and just getting it out there. You know, not everyone's going to resonate with me, and that's okay. You know, I'm not doing it for the likes or the you know, the people that follow and subscribe. I'm not doing it, well, I don't make any money off it anyway, so, you know, I'm not doing it to get to a point where I'm making money in that. This is for me, you know, to hopefully reach at least one person, you know, and be able to help one person and offer guidance to one person. And if I help others, well, great, you know. But this is a great healing process for me as well. It's a, you know, and it's helping me ground myself into the spiritual aspect of myself even deeper, and build the confidence that I was sort of lacking for a while there. So, you know, if I can look, if you were to know my full story, it
Exit
would,
the roundabout onto Morudik Highway.
if you know, you would understand
At the roundabout.
how far I've come, what I've had to go through to get here. You know, you would understand that, you know, if I can do it, you can too. Whatever it is you want to achieve in life, you know, with the healing, with the releasing the fear, with
Highway. Continue on C784 for 1.5 kilometers.
with you know, living life again, whether that be releasing, you know, getting back to work, new relationships, you know, moving to a new country, I don't know, whatever it is that is your dream in life, and you've been letting
600 meters at the roundabout.
unhealed parts of yourself hold you back, letting fear hold you back. You know, once you dive in and do this process and go through this process and see it through, you know, not abandon it halfway, but actually see it through to where you get to the point where you can move forward, your life changes in such a dramatic way. I mean, the person I was, you know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 1 year ago, has changed and evolved in so many different ways. And each time, you know, I release something and I grow and I learn and evolve, you know, I'm a completely different person. The person that, you know, people knew me, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I'm not that person. They have this version of the unhealed version of me. And that's okay, you know. I don't need them to know the me now. I know me now, and I know how much hard work I've done to really look deep and heal those parts of myself that needed to be healed, to learn, to grow, and to release not only fear, but, you know, guilt, shame, regret. I'm working through the unworthiness and lack scarcity mentality at the moment, and that's been quite an eye-opener, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and that's why I sort of keep harping on to you guys about, you know, the healing process, and the you know, that you are worthy, because you are. I am worthy. I am worthy of so much. You know, you are worthy. We're all worthy. But it's believing that, and that's the key. You know, you've got to work on that to the point where it's not just a mantra in your head, or an affirmation. It's a belief to your core. And luckily we have that guidance with universe, the angels, guides, loved ones, God, whoever it is that is your higher power. You know, ask them for help in your head, out loud, however you want to do it. If it's not something that you feel comfortable doing, become comfortable with it, because they are waiting to help you. You just need to ask. And that's another thing that I've had to work on myself, is, you know, the asking for help, and not just in the spiritual sense. It's in the physical sense. It's the emotional sense. It's every which way. So it's a journey.
500 meters at the roundabout.
It's a roller coaster ride. You know, it has its good parts and its not so good parts. But coming out on the other side, all I can say is, you know what? I feel so much better taking my power back and not letting that fear control me anymore.
In 300 meters at the roundabout.
So I think I'm going to leave it there today, guys. You know, healing is powerful, and it gives you back your sense of self, and I wish you luck with it all, and just know that you are not alone. And please,
in 300 meters,
please remember, stop it. Apologise about the stopping and starting. It's been a roadworks and GPS and all that sort of stuff. But if you would like a personal reading, my info was in the bio. I will never reach out to you in any way, shape or form. Please like, share, follow, subscribe and all that good stuff, and I will see you soon. I hope you all have a good day. Bye.